the best sex that you have ever had is on the other side of deep emotional connection with your partner. And the opposite is true too. When you're not on the same page emotionally with your partner, sex can feel even more disconnecting. So how do you build this amorphous, magical thing called emotional intimacy? I'll tell you. My name's Hannah, and in the last 3 years, I've helped over 1,500 women have better sex and deeper connections in their relationships. Today, we're going to dive into what emotional intimacy even is and the 8 core emotional needs in relationship. We're going to talk about some practical tips for building emotional intimacy and the 3 most common mistakes that get in the way of emotional connection, which you're probably doing. So let's dive in. First, I want to define terms. So what is emotional intimacy? Emotional intimacy is the deep connection between people that allows them to feel safe, valued, and understood. One of my favorite mentors that I've ever had breaks down the word intimacy into me, I see. Intimacy means bearing ourselves to be fully seen and seeing others and seeing ourselves in others. In long-term relationship, having deep emotional intimacy is like having a house built on a foundation of solid stone. The storms of life will come and go, but your relationship is stable enough to withstand those shifts. But an issue that happens so often in relationships, and maybe this is happening for you right now, is that the way we get our emotional needs met in relationship is different from person to person. So maybe your emotional intimacy cup gets filled by having honest and vulnerable conversations, and your partner's love cup gets filled with physical affection. What happens when we don't understand our partner's primary emotional needs can be this slow drifting apart, resentment, or disconnection. We can go from the high of feeling all of those love drugs to a harsh withdrawal as a relationship goes on. So I'm going to dive into the most common emotional needs in relationship, and as I go through these, I want you to think and reflect on which ones are most important to you and which ones might be most important for your partner. Ideally, watch this video with them, share it with them, and ask which ones are the most important to them. So let's get into it. Need number 1 is affection. This is the non-sexual expression of care through words, cards, hugs, kisses, and courtesies that create an environment that say, I care about you. This could be things like showing physical affection, holding hands, expressing love verbally, giving compliments or praise, offering encouragement and support, being affectionate in public, making gestures of love and kindness, being attentive to each other's needs, and just creating a loving and caring atmosphere. Need number 2 is sexual fulfillment. So this is having sexual experiences that are predictably enjoyable and frequent enough for you. So someone might have a high need for sexual fulfillment if they feel really filled up by prioritizing sexual intimacy, communicating desires and needs, exploring each other's desires, trying new things in the bedroom, talking about fantasies, making time for sex, building anticipation and excitement, being attentive to pleasure, or creating a safe and comfortable space to talk about intimacy. Need number 3 is intimate conversation. So this is talking about feelings, topics of personal interest, or plans for the future. This could also be sharing about your emotions and sharing about your day. And if you have a high need for intimate conversation in relationship, spending time in deep, meaningful conversations is really important to you. Also, feeling heard, feeling understood is a high emotional need if you're this type of person. Talking about fears or concerns can also fill this cup, as well as providing emotional support, offering advice and perspective, and respecting yours and your partner's opinions. Need number 4 is recreational companionship. This is participation in fun activities together, anything from like watching sports or hiking or painting to working out together, or any range of activity that engages you together. So think about if you have a high need for spending quality time together, that would mean that you have an emotional need for recreational companionship. Other stuff that fills this could be going on adventures, traveling, playing sports or games together, going to shows and concerts together, exploring new things, new hobbies, relaxing and unwinding together, or just laughing and having fun together. Okay, this next need is a little bit edgy, but it is totally valid, and that is need number 5, physical attractiveness. So it is totally reasonable to have a high emotional need in a relationship for your partner to have physical traits that are aesthetically or sexually pleasing or beautiful. Other stuff that falls into this category is just feeling like it's important for your partner to dress up for you, maintain good hygiene, compliment you, express attraction physically. Being mindful of health and fitness also falls into this category, being comfortable and confident in your body, and just making an effort to appreciate each other's physical features. Need number 6 is financial support. So if you have a high emotional need for financial support, it might be really important to you that your partner provides financial resources for your home, to feed and clothe your family, at a standard of living that is acceptable to you. And that's personal to everyone. So if you have a high emotional need for this, things that could fill that cup would be things like budgeting together, providing financial stability, seeing your partner being responsible with money, sharing the financial burden, supporting each other's career goals, or just being transparent about finances and planning your financial future together. Need number 7 is domestic support. So if you have a high emotional need for domestic support, it's really important to you that your partner takes care of the home and provides support with care of the household tasks, taking care of children if there are any at home, and just creating a home environment that is free of stress. So things that fall into this category could be running errands, taking care of the pets, helping out with childcare, doing home improvement projects, or just supporting each other and creating a comfortable home during stressful times. Need number 8, the final need, is respect and admiration. So feeling that it's really important to you to be shown respect, value, and appreciation, or your partner does things that bring about that feeling in you. These could be being complimented, being admired, being listened to, giving compliments and receiving compliments, feeling appreciated, being shown respect in public, never being talked down to, being uplifted around community and friends, or if you have any specific things that bring about those feelings for you: presence, problem solving, teamwork, collaboration. You can ask yourself now, which of those needs are your top 3 most important needs? And then ask yourself, if only one of those needs could be met, which would be the most important? And does your partner know that? If they don't, are there things that you could request from your partner from that list that I just went through? I went through so many ways that you can meet the emotional needs in each category, but I want to warn you of some common pitfalls that often get in the way of fulfilling these emotional intimacy needs. Number 1 is taking your partner for granted. Over time, as people settle into routines and become really comfortable in their relationships, there's a risk of assuming that your partner will just always be there no matter what. This can lead to forgetting to show appreciation or express gratitude or do the small things that make your partner feel valued. Taking someone for granted makes them feel invisible, undervalued, and potentially resentful, eroding the closeness that emotional intimacy depends on. A really powerful remedy for this is practicing regular acknowledgement and gratitudes, even for small gestures. It doesn't need to be elaborate, just a small and sincere thank you, a compliment, or just a really warm hug can go so long in keeping intimacy alive. Number 2 is getting stuck in your daily routines. Routines can create structure, but getting so absorbed in your daily habits and responsibilities can result in you forgetting to connect on a deeper level. I'm looking at you if you are the person that every single night you sit down on the couch, you watch the same TV show, you drift apart emotionally because you're scrolling on your phone. Emotional intimacy thrives when couples actively carve out time for meaningful connection, share new experiences, and spend actual quality time together. Breaking out of your routine occasionally can really help stir up desire and rekindle emotional bonds. Number 3 is letting resentment or criticism build up. Unresolved grievances and unmet expectations accumulate so quickly and rapidly in a way that before you know it, it snowballs out of control. And when partners don't feel heard or validated, or when they feel criticized, it creates walls in between them. Resentment and criticism stem from things like unaddressed feelings, disappointment, or unmet emotional needs. But when they're left unchecked, they damage emotional intimacy. Instead of feeling safe and supported, partners become guarded and defensive, making it harder to connect. Addressing those issues as quickly as they come up through open and non-blaming conversations helps release built-up emotions and allows you to see each other's perspective with empathy and understanding. In my relationship, what we do to clear this stuff out is every single week we have a relationship check-in where we just hear each other. We just ask, is there any needs that you have that are not being met? Is there anything that's unsaid? And we clear that out. Every single night, we also do a brief check-in where we just ask, is there anything that's unsaid from the day? That keeps our relationship completely clear of any disconnection. If you are experiencing a buildup of resentment or disconnection in your relationship, I made a video for you called Why Resentment Destroys Your Desire for Sex, and you should definitely watch that next. That's all I've got for you today. Remember, your relationship is built on the small, consistent actions, not the grand gestures. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.